Okay, so did you sign a 501c3?
Yes.
Okay, so you basically what entails in that? Can you give us that? Like what does that mean?
Because a lot of people make it sound bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of we hear things that people make it sound bad. And since you have signed it, could you explain to us what that is?
Basically, our 501c3 is just listing us as a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
Okay, so do it say in there that you can't preach on certain things, or if a politician is pro-abortion, you can't speak out against them, or what is it? What all is in there?
I've never seen that in there. I've never seen that in there.
Is some of your sermons on YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're on YouTube.
So if I go on there, or have you gave a sermon, spoke against abortion or homosexuality?
No, but I've spoken against sin. And again, when I say sin, I'm including everything in there. Again, if
you don't break it down, you just say sin, but you don't break it down to what
we talk about all sin. I'm not just going to bash homosexual. And that's what I learned a lot of churches do, is they just pick on that one thing and they bash that one sin, right? But when we talk about, and I minister on sin, again, I'm going to talk about the lust. I'm going to talk about adultery. I'm talk about fornicating, the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. Even pride is a form of sin in the eyes of God. So when we talk about, let's just talk about it all together and not just bash one group of people.
You're not bashing one group of people, but that one group of people have power. So it's people that have been fired because they're mentioning what God says in the Bible, that they're saying that homosexuality is an abomination before God. Just mentioning that, or being a Christian nowadays, and you're speaking, you're giving the words of God at work, you can be fired for that. And that LBGTQ, they have power. So yeah, I want to. That's why I'm asking about that. So you're just saying sin in general, but you're not breaking down. You breaking down some parts of sin, but you haven't spoke on homosexuality on your videos or abortion.
No. Again, when I talk when I minister, I'm not just going to minister on homosexual.
I didn't say that. Have you mentioned it, sir?
Oh, yes. I said, even when we talk about adultery, let's talk about David. So we all going to hit all these points in there in a message. That's what I'm saying to you.
So you've mentioned homosexuality is a sin while you're preaching.
Yes, I have.
And it's on YouTube.
It should be on YouTube. We've only been here since we started our church here maybe a year ago. So most of my videos you'll see on there were probably from New York. And so I used to talk about all sins up there. I mean, I talk about them here too also, but I don't know if it's on YouTube because we just started not too long ago here.
Oh, okay.
How does President Obama get to 270 electoral votes? Well, his clearly strongest voter group is African Americans, and hundreds of preachers and other religious leaders are going to get a pep talk of sorts from members of the Congressional Black Caucus on how to combat the recent rise in voter ID laws. I'm joined now by the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, Democrat from Missouri, who is also an ordained minister. Congressman, it's good to see you. Good morning.
Good to be with you.
So you've got this big summit tomorrow. Essentially, what is your message to several hundred clergy members, I understand, who will be there?
Yes, we'll have representatives from 9 denominations who actually pastor somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10 million people. And we're going to, first of all, equip them with the information they need to know about what they can say and what they cannot say in the church that would violate their 501c3 status with the IRS. In fact, we're going to have the IRS administrator there. We're going to have the Attorney General, Eric Holder, there. We're going to have the lawyers organization from around the country, the ACLU, all giving ministers guidance on what they can and cannot do.
I just shared this with you because they have, the IRS has spies in the congregation. These are called board members. And those board members, they just want, to get some big contributions in for whatever motivates them for that. It could be greed. It could be lust for power. Maybe they're stealing money. Don't know. But certainly those cases will exist. And they throttle the pastor. If the pastor doesn't agree to their terms, they fire the pastor. They'll get somebody else that doesn't care. that won't has oh no, I just want to preach whatever is in the Bible there, and without actually giving you any.
This is what it says on page 4 of the IRS instruction manual that all the pastors must read before signing on to this long prophesied 501c3. Now, I'm not going to read all of it, but I do think most should. But, I mean, the truth is, this is something all of us already knew about the pastors, right? We already knew that. That in mind, and if you notice here, like I said, I'm not going to read all this. You can, because there's a lot more than you see here on this one page, but it does say that the holder of the 501c3 can jeopardize their tax-free status by committing certain acts listed in the manual. And to give you an idea, like on this page here, on page number 4, it does say that the pastors must not influence legislation or intervene in any political campaign whatsoever. And if you read on in the following pages, they go into pretty good detail as to how the pastors cannot say thing one about any political candidate or law, past, present, or future, to their congregation. Now, we know that all changed as of, well, not all of it, because they didn't change the entire 501c3, of course. Like we were saying before, that one video I made before the election, Trump cannot remove the 501c3. It's a prophecy that's going to hold firm until the eastern sky splits. But he can rewrite it, and that's what he's done here. And so why is this all a problem, where they can't speak politically in the past? Well, besides the fact it removed free speech from the pulpit, we all know how evil politicians have become in the last few generations, wherein they passed all sorts of laws allowing very sinful things to be normalized in society that the pastors themselves could have stopped. And that is the main reason Lyndon Johnson set up the 501c3 in the first place. He hated the way the moral compass of the churches prevented him and his cohorts from passing laws that would destroy our Christian society. And so the 501c3 was written to prevent the pastors from saying anything to the church families about the sinful plans of the government. This is why society is such a mess today. I mean, since the government-approved pastors refused to jeopardize their bank accounts by saying something to stop what our elected leaders wanted to do, just to name a few, and there's a lot of this stuff online you could find, these anti-Christian laws out there that our pastors could have said something about, because they refused to say anything, because they didn't want to lose their tax-free status. This Christian nation legalized the killing of babies in abortion clinics. They could have said something then, but no, that was after 1954. They legalized the use of doctor-assisted suicide to kill your sick loved ones before they could even experience a healing miracle. And they legalized homosexual marriage, which is now causing major problems for Christian business owners all over this nation. As a matter of fact, there's something going on right now in the Supreme Court about it. And the 501c3 even prevents the pastors from warning people about the government schools that teach evolution as well as homosexuality as the norm. And thanks to these preachers of filthy lucre, as they're called in prophecy, the Word of God is now considered hate speech in America. Now, yes, thanks to what happened last Sabbath morning, these government-approved pastors can now endorse political candidates, no matter how evil they may be, and even lobby for religious laws, no matter how unbiblical they are. But here's what most missed. 100% of every pastor that has gained the 501c3 contract with the second beast of Revelation since 1954 read the entire 501c3 instruction manual before signing on to it. They had to read it before they could sign it, right? And so that means they knew for a fact that when they signed it, they would be unable to legally preach the truth about killing babies, their grandparents, or even allowing homosexual marriage, just to name a few. But they signed that contract anyway, which shows they are more concerned with saving money than they are with saving souls.
And the only reason this is why it's extremely important is because as followers of Christ, you're correct as in the aspect of saying like, hey, it does need to be about all sin, and he's correct in the aspect about saying it does need to be breaking down, because there's people who've been Christians for 15, 20 years and still doesn't even know what it means to follow Christ. That still hasn't read a Bible, but they are in church. So, and they're still watching porn. They're still, so they don't know. They don't know what should or should I don't be doing in order to get into this kingdom of heaven? What should I avoid? Okay. Can I sleep with another man if I'm a man? Okay. Can I still be in here jacking off watching porn if I'm in church? Can I still be looking at all the women that go by with lustful eyes? We don't have the church getting us equipped. We don't have a church treating us like it's boot camp, like we're out here getting ready to go out and war. It's just, oh, God loves you. You feel good. Okay, sow your seeds. That's all we have in the church. And let me take it back. I'm not saying all churches. But for the most part, that's what Christianity has been branded as. Mm-hmm. And now we have lukewarm Christians. Now we can't speak out against anything because you will lose your job. Now you won't get sponsored anymore. You